We arrived to Kuala Lumpur yesterday, because what better way to start a trip through Malaysia than the capital city? Besides that, it's pretty much fun and we've been here already. We're gonna link you the video over there. This time we're staying in a building over there, which is super centric and makes it easy to get around a lot of cool places here in the capital city. Choosing a place in Kuala Lumpur to stay is important, but it's not very difficult. Thanks to Booking.com, Trip.com or Airbnb, there's plenty of offers and there are beautiful condominiums all over the city where you can stay, and we paid between 35 and 40 euros per night. We usually prefer apartments, but there are also enough hotels where you can stay in. I'm not sure if you noticed that we're in Malaysia. There are just like a million flags around us. Funny story, when we booked the flight and the hotel or the apartment, we didn't know that it's Malaysia Day. So when we arrived and saw all of these flags, we were like, last time there were not so many flags around. And then we were like Googling what is going on, and we found out that it's actually Malaysia Day in the next 2 days. So, lucky us. Hasta que en Chinatown.
Wow.
This one is great. It's amazing. You should always look for the people that have a lot of coconuts and then ask for a fresh one and a cold one, because these are the best. Sometimes in Malaysia they already gave us like orange ones, and I think it's more like their preference what they're drinking. But for my taste, the green ones are better, so look out for the green ones. It's just great. So actually that was not our plan to stop here, but I saw the fresh coconut and I saw the Chinese buns. So I wanted to get a first quick stop, although we are on the way to Chinatown, where we will probably find a lot of Chinese food. Don't ask. It's huge. Toll. We were really lucky to find this small family-owned store. It was actually the father and the daughter working there together, and she was taking care of the fruits and we're cutting the fruits and attending the clients. Lecker. It's wirklich lecker. While he was taking care of opening the coconuts, which is most probably the most difficult work. And besides this, they were also selling these Chinese buns that they're buying from a friend's store, and they actually specialize in Chinese buns. So, yay!
Es más grande que tu cabeza de aquí.
Now we get a very atypical bun. It's with kaya, which is a coconut jam from Malaysia, and you can find it on toast here. You can apparently also find it here in the buns. So let's try. Good. So it's quite sweet, but it tastes a lot like coconut, and it's pretty good. I think they have made their jam themselves, because last time we tried it was like more a commercial one and it was not as good as this one. I always get a bit nervous when they're opening the coconuts, because I'm always afraid that they hurt themselves. But I think that this is just something that they grow up with. It was also the first time that they gave us this tool to take out the flesh, and it was delicious. The next stop was the Central Market. Last time we were here I really liked it because they also had live music and different concerts, and this time at least they had the stands. I think you can find them all day long and every day of the week, but we were here on a weekend. So if you want to have a quick bite or a relatively affordable and good coffee, that's the place for you. I personally like the area around the Central Market, but there's also the Central Market Hall where you can go inside. But for me it's a little bit too busy, to be honest. But here you can find fruits and clothes and other souvenirs if you're looking for something. And I also love these beautiful, colorful houses here. I know that we just had a coffee, but I couldn't resist and I really wanted to try the matcha latte with espresso. It was delicious. Today our plan was to stroll around the city center, and we also went back to the Sultan Abdul Samad Yamek Mosque, which is like one of the most famous mosques in KL. But I feel like last time they had more water and mist, which made it even nicer. We just walked over the central market and it was super busy because today is a Sunday. But although it was so busy, it was giving an extra vibe that I really liked. And there's like plenty of food stands, plenty of things that you can buy. And what really I think is the highlight here is that it's a fusion of different cultures. You can find Indian food, Chinese food, Malaysian food, everything you want in one place. And I think that's incredible. And now, right next to the central market, we're now here in Chinatown. And also, you can see very old buildings here. And then behind me, there's super modern buildings. So again, this fusion between old and new, between the cultures. I think KL is like a melting pot. About 23% of Malaysia's population is ethnically Chinese, which makes it the second largest ethnicity here in Malaysia. And when you come to the Petaling Street and the region around, this is basically the historic Chinatown. The area can get very busy, especially in the evening or at night. So we went there in the afternoon, but still it was very, very busy. But there are beautiful streets with lots of street art, and we just wanted to see it for ourselves. As you can see, it's a bit difficult to get good pictures or shots with the street art because it's very, very busy. But we still had a very good time observing the other people having fun with the street art because you could really interact with the pieces, just like this elder couple. I was almost afraid that they will destroy the painting. Besides the street art, the Petaling Street and Chinatown is also a food paradise. You can literally find here any kind of Chinese food that you wish for. I mean, look at these buns and these dumplings. They just look amazing. And how many places do you know where they use a pliers to move the pan? It was really cool to watch. Oof, these buns were amazing. They were really crispy on the outside, and inside there was like a rich filling. It was super tasty. To be honest, they were almost as good as the ones that we had in Shanghai. We are going to link the video here on the top. So we just spoke about fusion, right? So now we're here in Chinatown in a Chinese restaurant, and I have seen on the menu mango lassi sticky rice, which is a fusion of Indian cuisine and Thai cuisine, and it's really nice. It's really good. I'm surprised. Oh, Lee just said that he thinks it's better than the original.
There's some sour taste.
Yeah, it's sour because of the yogurt. It's really good. Try it. We kept on walking through the area of the Petaling street and we saw a lot of new street art. So I think because it's almost Malaysia Day, they did try to make lots of streets look nice, and we still saw the paint next to some of the paintings. And since we haven't eaten enough yet, of course we need to have some more food, right? Now we came to another Chinese restaurant here in Chinatown, and actually Lee found it. It's with a clam soup, but it's with a pork bone soup. So it's like the tonkotsu ramen that you would find in Japan, but with clams. So the combination is very interesting, and the broth is super strong. And the other one is with Chinese wine, and it's called drunken soup. And once you try it, you could also say it's for the client so that he gets drunk. Interesting. So my soup was really delicious and the amount of clams inside was just incredible. But to be honest, the one with the Chinese wine was not so much my taste. Mira cuánto ajo. I really don't know how we managed to eat all of it. We didn't just have the clam noodles, but we also ordered some dumplings with it. And everything was just delicious. I was kind of surprised that the restaurant was very, very empty. I think we were the only guests at this time of the day, but it was like 2 p.m. or something. Finished it! Yay! At night, we wanted to see the Jalan Alor night market. Sorry for my pronunciation. It is the most famous night market here in Kuala Lumpur. And as you can see, it is absolutely packed. I am not sure if it's always this full, but as I said, it's a weekend when we are here. So maybe within the week it's a little less crowded. But at the same time, there's lots of food stalls, lots of restaurants that you can sit down and have a dinner. But to be honest, for me it was too crowded to relax and have a nice dinner there. But you know, mochi and mango sticky rice is always a good option. Dear friends from Malaysia, if you know it's always that crowded, please leave it in the comments for the rest of the viewers. And for us, thank you! On our way back to the apartment, we saw these youngsters with their costumes and were very curious what's going to happen. So Lee asked them and they told us that there's going to be a parade for the Malaysia Day, especially showing and representing the Chinese culture. It was very interesting to look at. For me, it was the first time to see a Chinese parade of this kind, and even Lee said that back in China when he was young he never experienced something like this, because of course it always depends on the region and the state of China whether you have this kind of culture and traditions or others. So I think it's beautiful that they maintain the culture here in Malaysia as well, and that they're proud of their heritage. Oh, and one interesting fact, I think here in Europe we do have a lot of different parades for the carnival or other parades in general, but usually there's lots and lots of alcohol on these days in parades. But here in Malaysia, since we're in a Muslim country, there was no alcohol and the people were having just as much fun as we would have in Europe. But after the parade, we did want to have a look at the bar area or the bar and nightlife area of Kuala Lumpur. But we also had a look at the prices of the beers and the cocktails, and it was just too expensive for us. But we also took the advantage of being in Malaysia, of having a little bit of a break of any kinds of alcohol. So that was pretty cool. So on the next day, it was already Malaysia Day. And we really wanted to see what's going on in Kuala Lumpur on this day, but the only thing that we found was that there's a flash mob going through the metro, apparently, but we couldn't really locate it. So our plan was going to the main square, but nothing was going on. So lovely people of Malaysia, please help us out and write it down in the comments to say what should we do when we're there on Malaysia Day. Thank you! And happy Malaysia Day! The cool thing, although it was Malaysia Day, everything was still open. So we decided to go to Little India. I think it's so crazy that just outside of the city center of Kuala Lumpur, there's this place called Little India, and it does make you feel like you are in India. There's Indian music playing, everything is colorful, a lot of Indian restaurants, and it feels like you just traveled to another country. So in theory, in one day you could visit Malaysia, India, and China, which is pretty cool. About 7% of the Malaysian population is Indian, so this makes it the third largest ethnicity group in the country. So of course, we had to get some authentic Indian food. Lee tried the star of the restaurant, which was a chicken bamboo biryani.
Yes, thank you.
And I had palak pania because I was way too afraid that it's going to be very spicy. And yes, I was very happy and correct with my choice. In the evening, we decided to go to our rooftop to see whether something is happening, like maybe fireworks or anything. We did see a little bit of firework, but nothing too big. But what was really cool is that the Twin Towers were lighted up in the Malaysian colors. Most of the condominiums here, they come with a rooftop. They're usually very high, and you have several pools and maybe a gym. But there is also a negative aspect to all of this. Almost every time that we wanted to get the elevator, we had to wait around 10 to 20 minutes that it actually arrives, or we have space in it, or whatever. So please do yourself a favor and read through the reviews of the Airbnb or the booking.com and see if someone wrote down that it takes forever to get the elevator, because then it might take forever to get the elevator. During our stay in Malaysia, it was extremely hot. So we kind of bought 2 umbrellas to protect us from the sun, and they did do a really good job, and you can get them also with UV protection. And today we were really tired of walking through the heat and the sun, and therefore we decided to go to a shopping that was relatively close to our condominium, also because we kind of needed a SIM card. It felt so good to walk into the shopping center and have the fresh air of the air conditioning, and since the shopping is huge and has various floors, you can also get your steps in. While we were walking through different shoppings, we did find one that was very interesting, and it had a huge amusement park inside, and it's called Times Square. I have never seen something like this before, not in Europe, not in Asia, but when you think about it, it kind of makes sense, because you're inside, it's fully air conditioned, it doesn't matter if it's raining or if it's hot or whatever, you can just come here any day, anytime and enjoy your day. That's actually pretty cool. And the price was okay, so it costs 60 ringgit for Malaysians, which is about 13 euros, and 85 ringgit for non-Malaysians, that's about 17 euros. When we're in Asia, we also try to have different drinks, because usually when you go to the convenience stores, they sell super weird drinks, and sometimes we just want to try them, like this one with prebiotic. However, they tend to be very sweet or taste like taurine, like Red Bull, and yeah, interesting mixture. And to finish off our days in Kuala Lumpur, and after having some amazing Chinese and Indian food, of course we had to get some Malaysian food as well. So when you're around in Kuala Lumpur, don't hesitate, try all kinds of food. It's incredible. And in the next episode, we will dive deeper into the culture and the food here in Malaysia. Thank you for watching, and if you liked the video, please give us a thumb up or follow us on this channel, and I see you in the next one. Bye bye.